Don't do it. But you're ready. So you see what I'm doing, right? If you look at this cover right here, which there was a book called Storytime My Children, if you write that down, Storytime My Children, written by Dr. Malachi York. You see this cover right here. If you watch the Childish movie, those beings came down the craft. You can see actually the same type of setting. You just got to go back and watch it. Let me see if I got a little clip. I might got a clip. If not, I deleted it. No, I don't think that's... Oh, yeah, I do got a little clip. So you see that picture right there? That's what this scene is based off of. You know what I'm saying? To put into the vibe and the perspective, for one, of the green light, the all white. All these things have meaning. You know what I'm saying? You see the beings coming down, and they surrounded by the green light. You see Enki has on his green, and he has on his crown. And when he gets on the craft, what they tell him, this will be your garment. What do they tell him his garment will be? They tell him his garment will be what? The white. All white. You understand? So if you go back and watch the movie, you'll see that. What do they come out of the craft on? All white. So from the How to Love Again book, you should understand or have some type of understanding of blackness into white. Most of my books explain it in different ways. Blackness into white. Or darkness into light. So somebody asked me a long time ago, you know, what is the significance of all white? Why is it all white? Why do people need to wear all white or put on their all white, even when it was Imam Isa, okay, the tones of the master teacher who was teaching Islam and the esoteric knowledge of Islam, the sacred Islam. When he was teaching, he was telling people, make sure you wear your all white, put on your all white. He said it's the garb that the angels wear. It's the garb that the angels appeared to Muhammad in. It's the garb that the angels appeared to Moses in. You understand? It's the garb that Jesus, the Messiah, wore. Why? What is this all white? You understand that all white is a frequency. That after you get to a certain speed, when it comes to molecules, when they speed up, when you look at these structures or these components like metal, iron, and you see that if you heat something up, it goes from dark, which will be the state of the lead or the metal, the iron, and it continues to speed up in frequency to orange and yellow and then to white. The hotter it glows. You understand? So if some of you are saying, yo, that sun is white. It used to be what? Yellow. It used to be orange. What you're really saying is that sun has increased in frequency. It's not the same sun. It's increasing in frequency. You understand? So what does that mean? When you put on your all white, what you're really doing is you're ascending in frequency. You're speeding up. Okay? And there's a way that you're going to govern yourself when you're in all white. And there's a way you govern yourself when you're in all black. So let's say, for instance, if you look at mission clothing, they don't go out in all white. They go out in all black. When it came to the nations or what y'all call gangs, everybody has a mission flag. And that flag is black. You understand? Everybody has a mission flag. That flag is black. Or badge. It's black. So you go out on your mission, you understand? It's the black that you use. White was neutral. Even though it belonged to somebody, the same way black belonged to somebody, there was still neutrality. As a matter of fact, what a lot of people don't know is that these so-called gangs, which are nations, they actually rock multiple flags for different purposes. But one will be like the home flag. You understand? But everything else is being used for different things. You might be somebody who put on this color that everybody think you don't wear. But depending on what you're doing. So the point is, when you appearing in white, if it's an all-white affair, you're going to be more careful. You're going to be more cautious. You understand? You're going to eat your food differently when you have on all white. So as to not put a stain on your outfit or a stain on your garment. You'll eat differently. You know what I'm saying? You got to be cautious of who you let touch you when you got on all white. You know what I mean? You really want to be cleaner with all white. With all black, you're not moving as careful. You understand? But yet you can still be on a mission, which means what? You would use that all black to go into the shadows. You would use the all black to blend in. Both of these colors are all-purpose affair colors. You understand? But you still have to know which affair it is to apply the science behind that purpose. So the white, like exactly, all white feeling godly. They say cleanliness next to godliness. It doesn't mean that black will be dark or black will be unclean. You understand? Or evil or anything like that. It just means that when we're speaking in terms of frequency, how is it that all of these religions, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, have associated purity with white? Now you got to go beyond the school where Muhammad Ali was coming from, where he said, how come everything that's bad is black and everything that's white is good? You got the angel cake, all of that's facts. That's how they used it in the society, the color system. Color meaning code system, where they put you in a certain type of code. But you have to understand, melanin recessive people are not what you're looking at as far as the color white when you see it on these beings on their screen. They're not white. If you look at those beings, the clothing that they have on, that's the color white. Melanin recessive people are not white. They're actually closer to the colors like beige or tan. You understand? Or even brown, some of them. You know what I'm saying? Different shades of brown. Why? They're still having melanin. It's just melanin recessive. It's a receding gene. But they're not white. You've never met a white person. You've met pale, but you haven't met white. And in the same sense, when you see a person, you say, this person is a brown person. But that person is also beige. You say, we're brown, for black and brown people. But you call the brown people, you understand, black. And you call the beige people brown. These are codes. Had nothing to do with your skin color. So when he's asking, why is everything that's dark and black? It's because they were putting you in different categories code-wise. If you actually study abroad, you will find out that certain people in Europe were called black. Certain people in China are called black. It's a code. And that's just because you speak in English, you would say black. But it's a certain type of code. And colors are used for codes. So when we speaking in colors, what are we speaking in? We speaking in code. You understand? So different things will be represented. Now, when you really go deeper, you'll find out that these military men, a lot of times they weren't wearing white when they were described. A lot of times they were wearing black because they were on a mission. When I encountered these people, they had on black. When the people in rural Zimbabwe encountered them, they had on black. When the whoever this government dude was talking about them said they looked like African Americans, when he encountered them, he said what? Or he learned about them, or however he saw them on whatever base they were on. All the people who were out there who were government officials and military men, they saw these people, they had on black. They even described it like leather, they said, skin-tight leather. These are missions. So what's the point here? The point here is you have literary and allegory, and you have to know when what needs to be applied to make sense for what. The literary sense would be, regardless of whether or not these beings came wearing all black and all white, all pink, all purple, regardless of whether or not those beings appear to you in whatever color or whatever garment, your all white is symbolic of you being prepared to ascend. You understand? That's your preparation. You become what? Lighter. So what I responded to the person who asked that question was, like, explain what is the significance of this all white? What's the significance of it? I said, you're talking about frequency. The whiter you get, the lighter you get, literally lighter. And then which one would you say is a heavier color? Think about it. If you had to weigh the colors in your brain, when you say white versus black, which one would you say is the heavier color? You would say black is the heavier color. You understand? From darkness into light. From the orders of Tahuti. You say darkness into light. So your goal is to become lighter. Literally lighter. You understand? And then from being lighter, you become brighter or whiter. What did you say to the child who you said had a lot of promise? What did you say? It's a bright child. You got a bright future. Why you didn't say they have a dark future? Because you're speaking in terms of frequency. If I want to create a movie that's going to scare people, I'll make the movie darker. Right? Because it's like the absence of knowledge. And that leads to fear for a lot of people. They don't know something is darkness is associated with not knowing. They got a movie called Knowing. Right? Where those beings were dressed in black as they were moving amongst the people. They were human beings. Apparently, they appeared to be. But when they came to the point where it was time for them to ascend, let me see if I can get that image up for you real quickly if I still have it up here. When it came time for them to ascend, what did they do? They turned whiter or brighter. They turned into light beings, lighter. And they shedded the skin of the flesh. They shedded the flesh, they let it go, and it fell away. And then this light body protrudes, and then you can see, oh, this is who they really were. So the reminder of family, you already are a light being. It's just, what state are you in? You understand? That's why I said when I was 12, I said I had help from an army. So I wasn't worried because I'm a part of that being. I'm still a part of that army, just a different state of being. You understand? So basically, if we're looking at these beings on this screen right here, this would be what you would call spirits. But spirit isn't an actual thing. It's just a way to say a different type of state of matter. Right? Either a different type of state of matter or a being that's not in your dimension, operating from your observational frequency. So you say this is a spirit. It has to be some type of spirit. No, it's just a real being, and it's maybe interdimensional. So what's another way of saying interdimensional? Let me qualify it for you. If gas goes from gas to liquid to ice, right? Or water goes from vapor to liquid to ice, it just traveled through dimensions. You understand that? Which is states. It traveled through states. So watch this. What goes beyond gas? Who knows? States of matter is what we're referring to here. We go solid, liquid, gas. What's next? Anybody know? You go solid, liquid, gas, plasma. Somebody said it, plasma. You understand? You go ether and beyond. So why is that important to know? It's important to know because if you're dealing with a plasmic being, is that a spirit? Or are they composed of mostly plasma? What are human beings composed mostly of? Water, liquid, H2O. You understand? Compounds, a bond. And this is what creates or yields or forms most of your body. You understand? So, okay, then you are in a semi-fluidic state. Or you are coagulated. You understand? To the point where your semi-fluidic state, either you ascend or you descend. And that coagulation would mean you become more physical. To reverse that, you speed up your frequencies. And from that semi-fluidic state, you go up into becoming gases or jases, Jesus. Like I broke down to you out of the darkness book. You understand? You become Jesus, jases, gases, and beyond. You understand? So something happens inside. No flesh can inherit the kingdom of God. Okay, if no flesh can inherit the kingdom of God, and you already told me that the kingdom of God is within, something has to happen inside. The Quran said you have to fix what is within before there's ever an intervention on the outside. You have to fix what is within. You understand? So, okay, well then, rewiring of the brain, the alteration of the consciousness, the detaching. You want to know what it means to unplug? To unplug from the matrix is to let go of all the carnal desires. You'll be right here still, walking amongst people, but they won't even recognize you anymore. But you unplug. You understand? This is why the conversation of nirvana is so vast and broad. Because nirvana is not accepted by everybody, not even everybody who came through as a Buddhist. Why isn't it accepted as for everybody? Because they don't think. Some people look at it as a negative thing. Some people look at it as a positive thing, nirvana. The state that you reach, heaven. People look at it as a negative thing that you are trying to shed your body. Why would you try to shed your body? How about just enjoy life? And others was like, nigga, this body is a plague. You feel what I'm saying? To anybody who is going on to ascend. To everybody else, it makes sense to stay at the party. You understand? To everybody else. But for the person who's saying, yo, I want to ascend, they don't want to party. They want to graduate. Go through the process gradually to get out of what? School, hell, and go upward. You understand? To be the light beings that they're supposed to be. So when we say we breathe life into man, and man became a living soul, right? There's a process that you're going through to get there. But you were formed with the catalyst first, organic synthesis, where you had the Homo erectus. Okay? Now you're Homo sapiens sapien. So you're still in that process because you still have the clay. So what is the clay? The clay is the Nesut realm. The realm you're operating in right now, the physical realm. You're formed in this reality. Do you want to ascend? That's all they asking. Because you can. So when you see in this movie Knowing, right, they were pushing out their hand. One of these beings held their hand forth. You understand? When it was time for the child to go and the dad couldn't go with him. You understand? He said, why can't I say only those who heard the call telepathically? You understand? These beings, one of them held their hand forth. Where did they get that from? Right here. You see the person in the front, Murdoch, is holding his hand forth. What does that mean? It means, family, we're already on our way. You understand? We're already there. On our way. But we're offering that you can come too. Nobody, they notice they ain't grabbing nobody. And when they held their hand out, if you watch the movie Knowing again, watch the end. When they held their hand out, after they held their hand out and offered, the other ones started walking off toward the ship. Because nobody can force you to go. Meaning nobody can force you to ascend. Listen, you cannot have the conversation about any type of extraterrestrial encounters until you fix what is within. This is the sacred. This is the secret. You can't have a conversation about being picked up on any type of crafts or ships until people can look around and say, we have fixed what is within. You understand? Which means before you start talking about getting on the wheel, you need to get on the wheel. Which means what? You have to ascend in your chakras. Because that's what the Sanskrit word will means. Chakra. It means will. Or chakra means will. Or will means chakra. You understand? So if I get on this wheel, right, and I activate my will, then I can go from the ground, right, which I put this in my How to Love Again book. This image was being explained from the frequencies, from darkness into light. You understand? So where it says earth and ground, that's your planet, your grounding, your matrix. Okay, you're going to ascend out of the Nesut realm, aren't you? To go up and beyond. In order for you to do that, where you say you are here, you got to go up. You get on that wheel. How many people remember I say, all right, time to get on that wheel? I said, what is this man talking about? I'm not talking about no spaceship. That comes, all this stuff that people think we talking about, that shit come later. You can't do it until you get this figured out. You can't even have the conversation until you figure this part out. You understand? So I say, let's get on the wheel. What am I saying? Come out of her. Same thing they said to you. Come out of her, my people. You know what I mean? You got a lot of things going on where people are still trapped in that root chakra and they can't get out. And we say, all you got to do is come out of horror and you won't face the horror. But what is the horror? The plagues. They say, you partakers of our sins, you receive of the plagues also. So what does that mean? STDs, illnesses, sicknesses, diseases, all kind of things that are trapping people in that frequency. There's a way to alleviate that. Don't you want to come out of hell? Okay, so come up out of her. Horror, the gut. Ascend, speed up your gut. Because it's connected to your brain. And then what happens? When that connection is enlightened or ignited, what happens? You go from the horror to the heart to the head. So the ground, the bowels, where I say you are here, that's the horror, her. Come out of her. The heart is right there where I say new earth. Where is it hidden at? In the word earth. Heart. It's an anagram. Flip the letters around. New earth. So why would I say new earth? Why would they say new earth? Let me give you the science. Because when they appeared to Prophet Rasulullah Muhammad, peace be upon him, according to the stories, they took his heart out. And they made it anew. And they cleaned it. And the part that was dark, they cast it out and said, this is Shaitan's portion. This is Iblis's portion. Who was Iblis? Who was Shaitan? What was he called, or what was he said to be of by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran? What they say? They said he was of the lowly, not the high, the lowly. You understand? So what they did for Prophet Muhammad, okay, was they cleansed his heart. They ignited it, gave it a spark of light, new life, and put it back in so that he wouldn't fall, okay, to Suin or sin or Zuin. That is a new earth, a new heart. Anu, heart. So who is Anu? Your heart becomes like what? Anu. They turn your heart to the fathers. Who is the father? Anu. Well, if you don't know that, well, then you go look into the Sanskrit word. What does it mean? Anu, God of the sky, or the sky. You understand? Okay, so our Father which art in, who's with me? Our Father which art in heaven. Okay, holy be thy name. It's a secret, a sacred. That's why it's in Matthew 6:9. Speaking about polarities of light, from darkness to light, 6 to 9. You understand? So your heart turns to the Father, which is the farther, which is the heaven, the head. So you go from hara, okay, to the heart. It ignites the flame, like they show you in the picture with Jesus. And then that flame sends up a smoke to the head. Information transfer. And then boom, now you're not only just, I remember saying this when I was young, I said, everybody talking about the third eye, what about the crown? Because anybody can open their eye. Is everybody royalty? Are you with me? Where's your crown? Where's your garment? When you read Revelation chapter 4, verse 4, what do you see when they talk about these elders? They have on white raiment, garment. They have on crowns. They speak about people receiving their crowns in their white raiment. Okay, all right, they also talk about the third eye. When they say the Father's name is written in their forehead. You understand? Who remembers their grandmother or their grandfather's picture of the Pentecost? The day of Pentecost? Where you had the fire, the flames. Notice when I said that the flames came in. 1, 2, 3. Right? Above the people's head. That was the emission from the crown chakra. The same halo that you see around Jesus, the Messiah, Isha, or other ascended masters. When they were painting these beings, they always put this aura around them. Peace, Sensei. Why did they do that? Well, let me tell you. Because of Horus. Horus, aura. Say the word. Aura, Hora, Horus, Heru, Hiru, Halo, Hilo. Hilo is dealing with the sun. Horus is dealing with the sun. Heru is dealing with the sun. What is Herut? Herut is another way to say God of the sky. Are you with me? So Herut, Horus. I broke this down when I was 16 in the video that says 16-year-old Mason teaches class hidden knowledge on YouTube. 16-year-old Mason. If you type it in, it should pop up. Or you say phase 1. It's a 16-year-old Mason. And I break it down. I say, here goes a code. And I broke down for people how Horus, Jesus, all of these are the same science. Notice I said science, not just story. All of these are the same science. So Heru, if you go look into the name variation, tone variation, Herut, you'll find God of the sky. Anu, God of the sky. Our Father which art in heaven. So the Christian biblical stories teach about what? God of the sky. Now, let's be clear about something. Does God of the sky mean good? No, it doesn't. Because you have multiple gods of the sky, but some of them operated from a different frequency. So before so-called Iblis was cast into Tiamat or the earth, right? What was he? Already of the lowly. He operated in such a way, which is why you call them disagreeables, meaning if there's a certain type of law established, you disagree or you're able to disagree. Well, the ones who are agreeable, those are the ones who are able to agree with whatever that law is. So you have the agreeables and the disagreeables, right? You had Shaitan who had technology, They were advanced, and you only call them shaitan because of that specific story. So wrap your mind around this. Shaitan is God in the shaitan or satanic walk of life. They look at the one you call Satan as God. What's ironic is they're using a word that is a Hebrew word or Hebrew word meaning adversary or opposer. So when they say, I'm with Satan, that makes no sense. You're with your opposer. That's what you're saying linguistically, but they don't know better. But if they knew better, they would say, I'm with God. Meaning you're with your ruler or your guide, G-U-I-D-E, or your guard, G-U-A-R-D, your God. So if you're with your God, you wouldn't oppose them. So again, it's a linguistic issue. But the problem is for people is they think God means good, and it doesn't. Never meant that. Lord didn't mean good. You understand? So it's adversary, it's accuser, it's opposer. It's not wrong. If anybody would listen, go look into the word. Don't take my word for it. Shaitan, Satan, is adversary, it's accuser, it's opposer. Different variations. You will find all three if you go look into it. You understand? So then what happens? You find all these other variations of that word. And then these are other names that mean the same thing. Diabolos, diabolical. All right, family. You listen. Everybody else go check that shit out. I'm like, who the hell? Your name is Joker. You feel me? So when Shaitan was cast into earth, he became lower. Right? But he was already of the lowly. But before he was cast into earth, was he not in heaven? They want to rule that part out. People say, the devil used to be an angel. How is he not anymore? Because what do you mean by angel? Well, if you tell me that angel is a word angelos, meaning messenger, okay, how did he used to be a messenger when he still got messages? He still got messages. What do you mean by angel? Do you mean extraterrestrial? If he used to be an extraterrestrial and he's here, he's an extraterrestrial. What he's it's not no used to be. So the devil is still an angel in whatever way you want to push it. Does angel mean good? No. Go read Revelation chapter 12 and you'll see angel doesn't mean good. It just means that this motherfucker has a message or is an extraterrestrial or is a lord or whatever. Some type of king, malaik, okay? And those beings have authority or hierarchy set up. So when they say Shaitan versus Michael, they were telling you which type of war was taking place. Michael was the type that was like God. That's what it means. Who dares to be like God? But they translate it to be who is like God. It's really who dares to be like God, meaning who is like God as in a question but an answer. Because if you're daring to be like El or God, then you're specifying which God you're daring to be like. And that God was the heavenly one, meaning even being in heaven, he was of the high. Then how do you know this? Well, you'll find that there was another being mentioned called Shaitan or the devil or the dragon or the serpent. They said the old serpent. And they say he had deceived the whole world. So which one would you say functions on which frequency? The truth functions on a high frequency. It liberates or makes people free or sends them upward in frequency. The deception sends people downward in frequency. Now, who is the father of deception according to when they say you are of your father the devil? The lust of your father you will do. This is John 8:44. The lust of your father you will do. And they start breaking down what he does. He deceives. You understand? He destroys. All right? All these things are being broken down. Okay, so check this out. In any situation, when there's something set up, whether you think it's a good law or a bad law, anybody who approaches and destroys, that will be those people's devil. So your government isn't looking at this craft that they tell you about finally as God. They're looking at it as the devil. Because if that craft has shown up and released what they call baby planes to approach your planet, to rain judgment, literally rain judgment on this planet, they're not going to look at it and say, God is coming. They're going to say, Shaitan is coming, because that's their opposition. You understand that? So what happens is in your brain, there's a war taking place. They showed it in the cartoons. If y'all remember me breaking that down before, the cartoons with the angel and the devil on the left and the right. The left and the right brain. You understand? And you having the will, literally, WHEEL, you control it. You're not the left tire, you're not the right tire. You're the one driving. Supposed to be. You understand? No matter what this angel whispers, no matter what this devil whispers, you're the one who gets to decide where you travel, which direction you go. So in your brain, there's a part of you that is like El, God. You understand? And then there's another part of you that is like Shaitan, the opposition. This is what you say, Seraphim or Cherubim. Seraphim or cherubim. You understand? So there's one side of you saying, yo, I want to ascend. There's another side of you saying, I want to stay here. And this is why I broke down in the book, Lotus to Totus. You understand? Actually, I think this might be the new book that I'm talking about. But it was the Lotus to Totus. Meaning, you're coming from the lowly, lotus. And you go look into what I'm telling you. Because Lotus, what is the story? The Lotus Eaters, the ones who got stuck here. Or stuck in the realm that they entered into, or the country that they entered into. If you look at the Homer epic, they got stuck there. Why? Because they got attracted to and attached to this plant or this carnal desire. And they said, this is tasty, this is good for us. We're going to stay here. You understand? Go watch the movie Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. You understand? And there's a scene where they go into this club and they eat this lotus flower. And they say, nigga, we can stay here forever. They're referring to the Homer epic. That's where they get it from. We can stay here forever. And they actually start staying there for a long time. They said, so much time has passed. Nigga, we got to wake up. Hold on, something's wrong. Don't eat the plant. A voice comes through. Don't eat the plant. You know what I'm saying? Meaning you have some type of divine intervention from the outside or the inside. Either way, you have to have some type of divine intervention that gets you back connected. Or your attachment here disconnects you from the heavens. Meaning your attachment to your what you call lower self disconnects you from the higher self. Not your awareness of the lower self, your attachment to it. You understand? So they got stuck. So there's a war taking place between the left and the right side of you. And you decide who wins. Simple. You decide who wins. And it has to happen inside. If and when you win, or you allow for the light side to win, what happens is you start emitting a different light, which is the green light and beyond. So this is why we told Moses, meet Al-Qadir at the place where the two seas meet. And the place where the two seas meet is the green one. So when you're saying Al-Qadir, you're saying green one. So watch. Heaven, new earth. What color do you see? Heaven, new earth. You see the color green, correct? Okay, we told them to meet there. Don't get stuck in the Red Sea. Split that Red Sea, Moses, and go up. Cut upwards. What do you use to do it? You use your spine, which is the staff that was given to Moses. You with me? With this staff, you will work many wonders. You will do many signs and wonders. So use that spine, that staff, that scepter, that wand of yours that you have naturally, and come up out of her. Split the sea and go and meet Al-Qadir. And why did we tell him to meet Why did they tell him to meet Al-Qadir? Let me tell you why. Because it was in his brain, in their brains, those people, that they had already reached the understanding of what God is. They thought they already knew. So I know more than God. I'm the one who knows. I got all the information. I'm all-knowing. What do you hear people saying now? I'm God. And they're wrong. Because gods are in control of two things. They're inside and outside. They're in control of their body and the body outside, which is the world they're living and existing in. They're in control of both. And in harmony, it's less of control. They're in harmony with both. So gods will have this under control by now. Which is why they say, you need help, call out. Because you need people who can do something about this to help you. You understand? All right? So he was sent there and he had a conversation with Al-Qadir. And he learned where the two seas meet. They had to split. So there are waters. If you go back and read the book of Genesis, all right, there are waters that were separated by rakia, or the firmament. Atmospheres, frequencies. One water was of the earth, the deep. The other water was of the heavens, shamarim. But when we saying shamarim, we're also saying esh marim. Esh will be the fire, sham, but it's esh. If you go research it, you'll find esh. When you say sham, you're still saying that, but it's esha, where they would use, right? And you say ma'im, ma'im, who is ma'im? Well, if I call a sister over and I'm trying to be respectful in the Western society, what do I say? Ma'am, ma'im, ma'am, a feminine aspect, okay, which means visceral, intuitive, something that's not logically expressed. In the beginning was the word means in the beginning was the ma'im. In the beginning was the water. Or the logos, if you want to say that, it still takes you back to the spirit, which is still the waters, or the heavens that were there before this planet was formed as an earth. Eretz was formed. Because the actual body of water was here, existing, according to these stories. So what happens is you have this firmament. So what will be the firmament in this diagram? The firmament in this diagram would be the place where you see new heaven, new earth. All right? Which is your atmosphere. So when I'm saying the word atmosphere, if you ever heard anybody say that, I'm telling you where to get it from. They got it directly from yours truly. Atmosphere. You understand? So what did I tell you earlier? The unknown is the darkness, the deep. Okay? Without form, people don't know what it is. So they get afraid and they have fear. And they get stuck there in that fear. Because does not fear paralyze a person? Okay, so when you're operating from fear, which is what we call a lower frequency, you understand? That's when it comes to your health. That comes mental health, all of that. How far can you really go? So who is fear's cousin? Lust. Then you start finding out they got all kind of different relatives. Greed, gluttony, sloth, laziness. All this moves slow. You can hear it in the word, sloth. You understand? So when you read the Out of the Darkness book, when you read my prayer that I prayed for this realm, what did I say? If it's these things, if it's this lust that keeps us away from you, show us how to cast it out. Or take it away. Take it away or show us how to cast it out. You understand? So atmos is fear. What am I saying to you? If you're operating from amber light, you can't go beyond green. Are you with me? But when you operate from the green light, you can go beyond purple or indigo. And then you become adorned in a garb of righteousness, which means you become white. This is why it's 19. From 1 to 9. So count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Count them from the black to the white, the hearts. 1 to 9, 19. You want to know another sacred? Go look at the timestamp on the source song. You'll see 145. Okay? Well, what is 145? It's 19. 1 minute, 45. 1, 4 plus 5, 9. Source. Don't forget the source. And it is your source or your reservoir and that overstanding that's going to help you pull yourself up. Because in order for you to get up or rise up in frequency, you have to heat up, and that's the source or the sun. Are you with me? So the waters are separated from this, all right, from each other using this green one out of Kadir. You can't go beyond it. So your feet being on that new earth will be you standing on top of the heart. You understand? So now your head is in the clouds. Or you're on, you with me? Cloud 9. What emoji do you see right there? Cloud. Every time we go into this, I'm going to break down a little more for you. So don't worry. We went over this before. You're right. But if you pay attention, every time I take you a little further. You understand? So, okay. This new heaven and this new earth is what we explained with nirvana. 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 I just awakened a little while ago and the movie Wizard of Oz was playing with a yellow brick road. You have to take the yellow brick road. I just was talking about this. Yellow brick road is the golden pathway. The path of light. What is the golden pathway? The light of the sun. Because gold in ancient Kemet, when we say a solar disc or the golden disc, we were talking about Shem or the sun. Ruh. Which also, when you say Ruh, what are you saying also? You're saying Ruh. Ruh, the spirit. Or Ruh, in Hebrew. So when you follow that yellow brick road, are you with me? You not forgetting the source. And you become the wise ones or the wizards of Oz. So what did I tell you? From lotus to totus. From lotus to totus. Put down that lotus flower. Okay? It will keep you here. Your lotus flower is sex. It'll keep you here. I'm not telling you can't never have sex. I know people don't want to hear that. But I'm saying, you don't let it overtake you. It'll keep you here because you like, it's good. Shit is good. Well, fuck would I leave? It's good. Keep you here where? Exactly. You decide now. Because I've already broken it down. Your lotus flower is weed. Your lotus flower is food. Your lotus flower is money. Your lotus flower is status and attention. Lotus flower operates in different ways. Basically, when you say lotus, you're basically saying what's going to keep somebody from moving on. What keeps people from moving on? Why do people stay in relationships that don't work? Some type of benefit. And that benefit feels good. No matter how you look at it, it's some type of benefit. Even if it's a benefit if you don't feel like you're ready to move on, you don't want to be alone. That's a benefit because you got company. Even if the company is shit. You would rather be in the company of shit and misery than you move along. Some people do that. Addictions, that's another way to look at it, yes. You understand? So no matter what it is, people stay in this because of benefits. Some type of way they convince themselves this is benefiting me. You understand? But then somebody else will talk to you and say, nigga, you need to get up out of here. They not doing you right. They not this, they not that. You like, nigga, you don't know what it's like. Shit, they looking from the outside in. So from the outside in, they sent messengers. From the outside in, they sent books. From the outside in, they sent teachers. From the outside in, they incarnated. From the outside in, they said, y'all want to stay here? You don't have to. So why I say nirvana? I've already broken down that science. So now it's out there. So if you ever hear it, you know where it came from. It's out there now, though. Nur, nir, light, nirvana. The golden pathway or golden. Nirvana. Okay, then you reach nirvana, you say no more suffering. So go and read Revelation chapter 21. Go read it. And you'll see no more suffering. There'll be no more sorrow. No more pain. I might guide it in my notes somewhere. Because I ain't in front of the computer. I might got that shit in my notes. Because it wasn't that long ago since I referred to it. Let's see if I got it. I probably had to go to see it. But either way, I know that they said, and there will be no more pain, no more sorrow. You know what I'm saying? No more death. They said all the former things would have come to pass. You with me? So that's nirvana. So when people are looking at Buddhism like it's so ostracized, and no, it's the same shit. They teach the same thing. They just teach it in different ways. Some of you are taking it only literally, and some people are only taking it allegorically. But it's both. That's why we gave you the law of correspondence. Don't forget both. Everything was created for you pairs. So to become from lotus to totus, what does totus mean? Again, you take that golden pathway. Who was the dog in the Wizard of Oz? The dog in the Wizard of Oz was called Toto. Toto. Do you know where that comes from? Toto comes from the word totus. What does totus mean? Totus means total or complete. And in the Quran, there was a gem left for you, said, complete for us our light. You know what I'm saying? Complete for us our light. So if you complete your light, then you're going from 1 to 9. Are you with me? So that's the sacred from 19. Sacred. And when it was mentioned in the Quran, the 74th chapter, 19, we said over it is 19. I want to ask a question. Over what? Over what is 19? Who knows? And what was the 19 referring to when it comes to beings? Who knows that? I'm just trying to see who knows. I'll give you the answer. Over what is 19? Because come out and extol. Come out and teach. Hidden secret. Let people know. What is over? What is 19 over? Well, first we have to deal with what is 19. 1 to 9 is a pathway. And that's the pathway that gets you out of hell. Jahannam. Or Jahim. Jahim or Jahannam. That's hell. So to get out of Jahannam, to avoid having to be ruled over by another group of beings called the Zebaniah. Okay, those were the angels who guard hell. You had to learn the secret of 19 to escape that judgment. So you go and read the Quran, chapter 66, verse 6. You think that's a coincidence? And you will find that they're talking about the Zebaniah. And those in number were 19. You with me? So from 1 to 9, is 19 a number? No. 9 is a number, though. So when we're saying complete for us our light, we're saying show us how to be 9 ether. Show us how to be 9 ether. 9/11 was a code, exactly. It was a gateway. When you add 9/11 together, you get the number 11. 911. 9 plus 1 plus 1. It was a gateway. They were trying to bring some beings through here. And those beings had the frequency of destruction. And they needed to do a sacrifice to do that. Hypothetically, God damn it, because you know the motherfuckers done got way more crafty with this algorithm. You start mentioning certain shit, they start definitely tapping in. Right? But that's the reality. It's 9 plus 1 plus 1. 9/11. It's a gateway. Why am I saying 11? Because why am I saying gateway? 11. Somebody type in the number 11 real quick. Type in the number 11, and I'm going to show you how 11 is a gateway. That's actually what it's used for. 11 is used for a gate. You know what I'm saying? It's the 1 and the 1. These are pylons. Stargate. That's an 11. Walk through that. You can walk in the middle of the 1 and the 1. It's a gateway. That's how the pylons would look when they were trying to open up portals. You think it was just always circles. It wasn't. It was pylons. Gates. That's why I tell you Bab's pylon is a gate. So what's their sacred number? 11. So why 9/11? Because it was already written in the chapter 9, verse 11 of the book of Revelation, where he spoke about Apollyon and an Abaddon, where he spoke about the frequency of destruction. And on that day, destruction came to what? The Twin Towers. I broke this down in the How to Love Again book. Can't make it up. I literally broke it down in the How to Love Again book. You understand? So you have twin towers. So what is a tower used for? What is a pylon used for? They call it the Twin Towers. What is a pylon? A pylon is a gate. But a pylon or pulon is gate is another way to say tower. Which I broke this down for you in the Out of the Darkness book. Are you with me? So it's already there. It's already broken down and explained. So it's up to you to read it. It was already an emergency, right? So what was an emergency of? 911 emergency. 911 emergency. Well, who remembers what emergency means? Emergency means apocalypse, for one, to come into view. That's what emerge is, to come into view. But emergency also means to bring something forth. So what were they bringing forth? Who were they bringing forth? A very destructive frequency. And you saw his face, their faces, but it's his face, as you would say, in the smoke. If you remember, how many people remember that? The smoke face. It popped up, say there's a smoke face of the devil. Face of a demon. Who is that? It was Apollyon and Abaddon. A frequency is a message being sent out that, yes, we have brought through here a new frequency. They're destroyers. So if you think that that's, again, a reach, you have to go back to the 1995 Illuminati card game, 1995, where they put the terrorist nuke in the card game. You understand? So you go look at the terrorist nuke of 1995, you'll find the Twin Towers being hit. Another thing you'll find is when they needed to pull in certain beings and do certain things and use certain power, even when it comes to seismic activity, okay, where they wanted to shut certain things down, they would use, it was another card, it was called the Earthquake Projector. And the Earthquake Projector had the Twin Towers on it also. Some people may not know that. So a lot of people only learned this stuff from YouTube, but they were learning it from people who either they studied a piece of it, or they played the game, or they knew where it was coming from. The Illuminati card game is a layout of your timeline. And the only ones who can affect that timeline is the people who have their consciousness activated, which means their corona is lit. You can't do anything about it if you don't have your consciousness activated. You will only be feeding into the program that's already been laid out. And the reason why they laying out the program, and the reason why they planned it to this degree, is because they want to maintain control and they want to extend their windows of having this day of darkness or this age of darkness in place, meaning they can stay in power. Because if people don't know what's going on, people stay in power. So if I tell you, how many people were they saying on the plane? How many people were on the plane with me? On the plane. You know what I mean? What they say, the Taliban or the Taliban, the students, Talib. How many were on the plane? 19. You don't get it yet? It's all there. And Al-Qaeda means leaders. It don't just mean the base. It means the leaders, the elite. This was done. And you had Beelzebub called Bush. If you're going to look into, what was it, the Strong's Concordance? I can't remember. It was 9045, something like that. I got to look in the book. Matter of fact, I got the book right here. I'm going to get the Leviathan book, and I'm going to give you the science behind Bush. Because Bush, I think it was Strong's 9045. I got to check this shit out, though. I don't like to say the wrong number and shit. But Bush was Beelzebub whole read. His name brought you around to the word Beelzebub. You understand? So he was in office. Damn, that's crazy. I opened this shit up to plate 35. They say Osama bin Laden, head of Al-Qaeda. I can't make this up. Yes, I could, but I ain't going to do that. I just mentioned them motherfuckers. I just said Al-Qaeda. Open the bitch up. There you go, right there. You understand? Now, this is the Leviathan book. So, let me see. He probably open this shit right to where it need to be. Damn, that's fucking crazy how you be doing that shit, man. That is weird, bro. That's weird. That's weird. That's weird. It's always going to be weird. You don't never get used to it. All right. Let me see where you want me to start at. I'll start. I'm just read, and then we'll see, and then I'll come and find that Bush thing. But it says, what is character assassination? Character assassination is Malachi York book, Leviathan 666. Okay? I think this copy came out in 2004. It was completed in 2002, one of them. It's a character assassination is when your moral and ethical structure is attacked and destroyed through the media, because the media is a very powerful tool that can reach millions of people in a few seconds. They have the advantage of spreading their lies before your side of the story gets out. That's a fact. They take a little truth, switch it around, and add on or take away from it. However, they pick and choose what to tell, which makes it a lie. Everyone tends to think that just because it's on television, keep in mind a source that tells lies visually. When people be breaking that down, tell them where they get it from. Tell lie visual, they be like, it's tell lie vision. That's Malachi. It is most definitely the truth. You know the saying, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. They are talking about the media. They subconsciously stamp their thoughts into your mind. Thus, they have you under control. So when you hear the victim's side of the story, you are doubtful because they have already put their version of what happened in your head. Anything that appears on television is not by chance. Let's read it again. Anything that appears on television is not by chance. It is a well thought out plan. What I tell you, they already got a plan, but why do they have a plan? You understand? Because they want to they maintain their power that way. In turn, they give much media play to groups like the NOI, Nation of Islam. Uh-oh. Hey, I ain't do it. I just stumbled. I'm going to read it because it's right there. Hey, damn. Stumbled across it. Oops. In turn, they give much media play to groups like the NOI. This is facts, though, when you really think about it. But, hey. They give much media play to groups like the NOI, Nation of Islam, under Minister Louis Farrakhan, who stepped down as the leader of the Nation of Islam. The fact that Farrakhan stepped down confirms that the Holy Tablets is the book of the Lamb prophesied by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. In the past, Farrakhan said he was coming with the book of the Lamb, or book of Lamb. Now he has stepped down, so the Holy Tablets must be the book of Lamb, and I, Dr. Malachi Z. York, 33 of 720, as Sayyid Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi, the master teacher, must be that man, the messenger Elijah Muhammad told his followers to look for and follow. As one of my most well-known sayings goes, no one wins the race in racism. Farrakhan is still a great man. He worked very hard to save the nation of Islam. May he be forever blessed. Okay, so we had an image of Minister Louis Farrakhan of the now defunct Nation of Islam at the Million Man March, October 1995. The real Saudi Arabians are the true descendants of Avram, Abraham, and Hagar, Hakare, through their son Ishmael. And Hagar bore Abraham a son, or Abram, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bore, Ishmael, Genesis 16:15, through Ishmael. So Ishmael's second son, Kedar, these are the generations, the firstborn of Ishmael, Nebiel, Kedar, Abdil, and Mibsam. What's so interesting, this is First Chronicles, 1 through 29, 129. I was on one of the lives, and one of the brothers was like, what's Ishmael's nationality? Or what's Prophet Muhammad's nationality? And I was already asking the question. I said, I can answer that, because I don't even know if he knew the answer to what he was talking about. I said, I can answer that. And he was like, he's an Ishmaelite, because he didn't want to give me time to ask him the question. I said, answer my question, then we go into it. He said, Ishmaelite, which would really be saying Quraysh, the tribe of Quraysh, which, first of all, if you're saying Ishmaelite or Quraysh, the tribe to represent the Quraysh, he was saying that God didn't make a covenant with Ishmaelites. He made a covenant with Israelites. Well, this is showing that you didn't read your book, because if you actually would have read your book, you would have found that, first of all, God told Ishmael that their nation would come up. They would rise up a great nation, and that they would be blessed. You understand? So he would have made a covenant with whoever these Israelites or the Israelites are, these descendants of Jacob. He would have made a covenant with them differently, but he told Ishmael he was going to raise up a great nation. So tell me that these people who would have been called the Arabs to this day are not that great nation if they're descendants of Ishmael. Y'all just pick and choose when y'all want to pull out a scripture. You know what I'm saying? The reality is he blessed both. He blessed one with a covenant. He gave one group of people, said, this is what you got to do. He gave them a contract, said, if you don't do this, you'll be... That's why Deuteronomy, when it said repetition of the law, meaning the law has already been spoken for one. The repetition of the law in Deuteronomy was saying what? You do this and you will yield this. You don't do this, you will yield that. So is Deuteronomy a prophecy book? No, it isn't. So stop trying to kick it like Deuteronomy chapter 28 or any is a prophecy. It's not a prophecy. It was a warning. And if you're coming from a group of people who claim to be Israelites, that means that your ancestors didn't heed the warning and they didn't do what would allow them to be blessed. They would have been blessed too. So don't get mad at the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? You would have been blessed too if you would have listened. So it's interesting how the Israelites have become lost over time. All right, and the people claiming Israelites, and they got further and further away, but you go and look into the Ishmaelites, and they kept all the laws. The Ishmaelites prayed how Jesus prayed. The Ishmaelites wore what Jesus wore. The Ishmaelites spoke how Jesus spoke. They speak the language that Jesus spoke. It's interesting how you go into it, right? So it's before you start getting into this fight about Ishmaelites and Israelites or who this and who that, start paying attention to the fact that each of them had their own situation when it comes to these leaders, or this God or Elohim. You understand? So now, again, people are still trying to monopolize it, and you can't. So it wasn't that just because a covenant was made that those were the only people who were loved, or they were the only people who were treated with some type of dignity. Even when they were pushed out and sent into the wilderness, he said, don't worry, you're going to raise up a great nation. Your family going to be blessed. You feel what I'm saying? And you have the great nation operating today, even if they were not the original, which is a whole different conversation. Okay, so you have Kedar, which meant what? Kadar, meaning blackened, heavenly, and dark-skinned. Kedar, who was the father of the original black Arabs, genealogy, history, and names has proven them to be Negroid. The present representation of Arabs is not true. I just fucking said that. Due to many foreigners having mixed their seed in with the Mar, or Moor, which stems from the Latin word moreno, which means black. The word Moor is sometimes spelled from the French Moor, both coming from the ancient Romans and Greek Marus, produce mulattoes, a person of mixed white and black ancestry. You see them as Arabs today. You understand? So due to all of these terrorist attacks by so-called Arabs, okay, this brings you around to your question. Your question is being answered in a way. The biblical Arab is getting a bad name. Avram, Abraham was a Chaldean, and his seed that can be found through Ishmael and Kedar are known as Bedouin, a word meaning wanderers like Nur or Nad, which is the same meaning for the word Arab or Araba, which means moving about. So when you say Araba, Arab, Hebrew, Ibre, you're basically saying the same thing. To move about is Arabic or Araba. And then you say Ibri or Hebrew, which means to what? Cross over or to travel or traverse. You understand? So in reality, most of the world does not know what a real Arab looks like. They are not like the people that you see in the media today. They say demons like Osama bin Laden. They are not Arabs and should not be referred to as Arabs. For example, Osama bin Laden, who was originally from the country now being called Saudi Arabia, that was originally called Al Ghor, do the math on that, which wasn't called Arabia or Arabia until the year 1926, when Abdul Aziz ibn Saud declared himself king, but not without first getting permission from the Caucasoids of Britain in a letter in hopes to not offend them by making a decision of his own. So with their permission, he renamed it Saudi Arabia after himself. Now back to the point. Osama bin Laden is not an Arab. He is a Saudi, an East Indian, who conquered that land and set themselves up as Arabs. Also, demons like Saddam Hussein, who is in Iraq or Iraq, originally the land of Babylon, which is interesting enough because that's where the Stargate was hidden. Okay, whole nother conversation. Should not be called an Arab. He is really an Ottoman Turk, because Iraq fell to the Ottoman Turks in the 16th century, making him Turkish. So while the media groups want to clump all these different nations or nationalities together as Arabs, they should really look at each individual and the country they are from and realize that none of them are original Arabs. Let me explain further. Each of the countries and people that are being portrayed as Arabs today are countries that were invaded by different nationalities, which were mostly Indo-Europeans, and they mixed in. They are not from the pure seed of Abraham. The people who you see as Arabs today are not the original Arabs and can't really understand or speak the Arabic language. They don't know anything about them or what the nobles Quran teaches, because they are too busy following Hadith and Sunnah, which are words and traditions of men, not from the Alihat or the guys or the judges. Notice when you say Alihat, you're saying Eli or Allah, Ilah, Allah, which is Eli, what they say is it's got to be only singular. But then you say Alihat, and you find that it's plural. You understand? So you have the Muhammad or Muhammad, the prophet, who the nobles Quran referred to or revealed to and told his followers to read everything and study everything. But today, the rules of Islam teach people the contrary. Do not read everything or anything, and especially not the Holy Bible. Then it is also frightening to note how many Muslims are illiterate, who really cannot read or understand their own holy book. The nobles Quran, for as I said, 90% of the Muslim world are non-Arabic speaking. He said, if you study the history of each country associated with Arabs, you will see that none of them are the original Arabs. For example, after the 7th century BC, the Turks conquered Egypt. So the people you see in Egypt today are not Arabs. They are Turks, and they don't speak Arabic. They speak Turkish Arabic, a poor dialect. Their dialect is far from the Arabic in the nobles Quran. When you look at let me just stop right here. Y'all know this is why I ain't read nothing but like a page and a half. This is why he's the master teacher. You just had to stop, put it on record again, because they be trying to play him. This ain't nothing but 1.5 pages I done read, and this is all the breakdown that came through already. You understand? From linguistic breakdowns, and you got to make the text connection and all this other stuff. You understand? So what he say? You are really looking at the French when you look at the Algerian, Italians, French, and the Spanish who invaded Tunisia. So the people you see in Tunisia are really a mixture of all three. They are not Arabs. The following people who inhabit those lands are fakes, not being of the real pure seed of Abraham. The Iranians, Iraqis, Libyans, Lebanese, Phoenicians are not the Arabs. The inhabitants of Qatar, Saudis, Turks, Emirates, Bangladesh, Malaysians, Indonesians, Moroccans, and Mauritanians are not Arabs. Algerians, Syrians, Bahrainians, Egyptians, Yemenites, Kuwaitis, are not Arabs. This is a mass deception, a cover-up of genocide used to overtake a people, their names, land, culture, and God, and then to scatter them across the earth, leaving them in a state of amnesia. The Hebrew words nation, and Nesia, meaning forgetful, okay, or forgetful mortals, which means a forgetful state. So most Negroids don't know they are the pure seed from the Anunnaki, Elohim, who perfected Sheth or Seth, the third son of Kadmon, to his first son, Anu or Enoch. Anuk is one of Aknuk, excuse me, Enoch, who Noah descended from to Abraham. Okay, so I think basically it was speaking about those beings that we were just talking about. I was supposed to open this shit up to find Bush, though, so let me see if I can do that real quick before I close the book. Because I know Bush is in here, he was explaining and breaking it down to bring you back around to who was the president at the time. Right here, I open up to it. Okay, so Bush, all right. So this is just the beginning. Where we at? Did I go too far? Okay, cool. This is just the beginning of their destruction, yet you still want to be a part of the beast and go down with him. Look at the name of the leader of the United States of America, President George W. Bush. When you look in the Strong's Hebrew lexicon, the word Bush in Hebrew is Strong's number 0954. I think I said it right, or maybe I said 945, one of them. But it's Strong's 0954, which is the word bush, meaning to put to shame, to be ashamed, to be disconcerted, or to be disappointed. This is what is on the news right now. He disappointed everyone with the war in Iraq. All this is because of Satan, or Satan's devil's time is up. You see the physical Satan, Satan, or the devil, Caucasoids are in for it. The reptilians don't need them anymore, so he will make them kill each other. He said it would be over in a few days. Now he is asking for more money and sending another 100,000 troops. And look at the world. The big boys don't back the USA. Russia, France, Germany, China, Pakistan, Arab world, Africa, Korea. It's almost over for them. And at the same time, war is breaking out in South America again. How can the U.S. keep up with all this troops all over the place outside the U.S.? So who will be home security if all our troops are outside? But George Bush is still sending more troops. So he broke down the shadow government preparing to run the U.S. Okay, right there, the Holy Bible is telling you who he is. Did I miss something? Okay. Right there, the Holy Bible is telling you who he is, a deceiver. Then when you look up the number 094 in Strong's Hebrew lexicon, you get Strong's 0954, Bush, meaning to put it. Did I read this already? What the hell? Oh, I see. I see what he did. To put to shame, be ashamed, be disconcerted, be disappointed. And when you look up the same number, 954. So let me show you why he did it that way. So you have the Strong's, right, 0954, where it's speaking about the disappointment, all right, and to be put to shame. But then when you go and look at, he said, look up this same number, 954, in the Greek lexicon. So that's the Hebrew Strong's, okay, and then you go 954, so you see the 954. In the Greek lexicon, what do you see? He said you get Beelzebub, all right, or Beelzebub, meaning Lord of the house, or a name of Shaitan, the prince of evil spirits. This is no coincidence. So he was breaking down that you see that one is breaking down from 954, the Bush, and another one saying the disappointment in the Hebrew lexicon. So it's still saying Bush and then Beelzebub when you pair them up. They have tried time after time to guide you on a path that will lead you closer to the realization that these things really exist. Yet every time someone tries to tell you, you do what we all do when we don't want to hear the truth. You run. Well, now is not the time for running, for time has run out and the time is now. Now is an actual event of removing the spell of sleep, Leviathan. From the point of the start of the removal of the spell to this present moment is now, and now is the time for all good people to come. Tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, blizzards, and all the like, which have already started and continue today. I've told you about the year 2000 AD since 1967 AD. What do you say? This has come to pass, another prophecy fulfilled. Now, if you've been walking with Paul, you know he got a million prophecies that's fulfilling themselves right now. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing crazy. It's just what it is. Shit. The alignment has happened. So if you wonder why the world is going crazy, it's because the planets have aligned as of May 5th, 2000 AD and usher in the sun cycle, which is a 6,000 year period of time. I have been telling you this since 1970 AD, and you all called me crazy. Just look around you. In Popular Science magazine, dated May 2000 AD, on page 22, they have just now decided to tell you about this alignment. May 5th, 2000 AD, as described in the articles below. And yes, these things did occur and are occurring now. Okay? So he's breaking down more and more what was coming. So if you want to get more of that information, there's a book, Leviathan 666. Leviathan. Here's the book. Leviathan 666. It's a PDF. You'll be able to get it on the web, and you'll be able to read the whole thing. It's a lot of information in it. You understand? So that book, this book right here, is a prophecy book. It broke down a lot of shit that was coming, and it came. So that's why I was like, bro, I already know what's going on. Shit, we told already what this shit was. You feel what I'm saying? So you go get it, and you'll be able to. You couple that with the holy tablets, and you in there. As far as where we at with it. But Leviathan 666 was broken down. Yeah, it's fire. It break down all kind of shit. What was gonna happen to the state of hip hop? All this is right here in the book. You feel what I'm saying? So you get that book, you'll be able to read further. I just read about 3 pages almost, and that's what was in 3 pages. And this book itself is 400 pages long. Okay? They say the Quran is holy. You read it, open it up, and see if it is. And what will holy mean to you? What will holy mean? But yeah, they say it's holy. It's a science book to remind you about Hilo, the sun. You know what I'm saying? That's what all these books was. I remember seeing that book as a kid in my OG crib, and I was low-key scared. You know, I think a lot of people were because of the beast. The beast gave a lot of motherfucking nightmares. But it's the beast. It's what it is. It's a biblical description. This being right here. Biblical. The 7 heads, 10 horns, that's biblical. The beast is biblical. So when I told y'all pay attention, I said, you see this leopard being right here? It popped up in the WAP music video. The leopard skin. You understand? Shit, I'm telling you, man. All I can do is connect the dots for people who didn't get a chance, and then tell you the way to go find, see, activate that shit for yourself. That's all I can do. Remind you. The book was called Leviathan 666. Leviathan 666. I appreciate y'all. I see you commented for them. Thank you. The nations are the beast. Damn, he had that out. He been put this out. Come on now. This is the one who explained everything. From the Quran secret to the biblical secret. Everybody trying to act like they the one who figured it out. He the one who did that shit. He broke all this shit down. You got to get the book Dr. York versus the Computer. Actually, if you ever read my book, Is the Computer God? When you got to the end of the book, what did you see? Dr. York versus the Computer. You made it all the way to the end of my book, and what I sent you to. His shit. Because, hey, first of all, I ain't had time. That nigga broke that shit way further than what I could break down. So you go read the book, Dr. York versus the Computer. And he is explaining everything you need to know about AI, the beast, and all that. 666. He explained it all already. Before iRobot. Dr. York versus the Computer. Y'all see why they wanted him gone? Do it make sense yet to anybody? This is why they don't want him on the scene. Everybody else, bro, it ain't no information being put out. He was even saying that. He said, nobody just put out this much information. He said the NOI, he said they got a lot of books, but they're not putting out no information. Hebrew Israelites, if they ain't the Bible, they don't want to hear it, so they ain't putting out no information. Information hasn't been put out. And since he got locked up or kidnapped, there's been no information. Nothing new, y'all. Nothing new. Listen to me. Listen to me. All right? They trying to kick it, y'all. I hope y'all can hear what I'm telling y'all. They trying to kick it. That shit ain't new. It's not new. It ain't new. Every actual fact book, that ain't new. When I put my hands on the open, I said, I know what book that is. I know what Ham Seed book is. I know what this book is. It's not new. Ain't no new information been out here. So we still got this to figure out. So they're like, that's the motherfucker. He said it. If you go listen to Nuwabians Under the Spell, Nuwabians Still Under the Spell on YouTube. I'll type in the word for you if you want to find out how to spell it. Go listen to this. Nuwabians Still Under the Spell. They don't want y'all. When you listen to it, he actually calling out the whole damn nation. You know what I'm saying? So we say, Wabians Still Under the Spell? Go listen to that. YouTube. If you type it in, I don't know who channel it is, but you type it in, you'll find it. I just showed you. I'm going to pin it. Nuwabians Still Under the Spell. And he broke down a lot of stuff in it. He's explaining a lot of things about what was going to happen. This was back in 2004. He was in prison. It was a phone call. And he explained a lot of stuff, y'all, and these folks is still doing it, I'm telling you. I'm going around them, and I'm like, bro, this shit's still going on. Let me tell you what's going on now. Since I got 10% left, I'm going to get off of here. They saying that the pickup date is August 12th. They're saying that on August 12th, we supposed to be picked up and we're supposed to leave the planet Earth. I was at one of the meetings recently, and I asked the question, I said, where is the pickup point? He said, listen, what you really got to do is they do the go within thing. You got to go within, you got to, you know what I'm saying, be in tune. I said, listen, I didn't have to be in tune for you to tell me that it was August 12th. You know the date and you don't know where? So they looking at me like I'm wrong. Everybody looking at me. Oh, what? Where we going? Where we going? The pickup date is August 12th. That's all we know. Why is that all you know? You know, because it's stuff August 12th this year, y'all. This year. This is the Sabians. I'm having a conversation with them. Why did we get into that conversation? Because them niggas said it was an update. They said we got an update. I guess the update's supposed to be like the word from Baba. The update was a description of how Jesus is similar to oxygen. I said, this can't be for real. That's the update? That's old. Jesus, gases, oxygen, 888, that's old. That's not an update. What's going on? Something's wrong. And they can only do that because most of the Sabians are new people. I don't know how that happened. Maybe because y'all branched off and Nuwabi's like, what are y'all doing? We ain't even finished Nuwapu yet. But most of these Sabians is new people. It was one of these random female walked up to me after the whole situation. She said, let me ask you a question. Do you read the doctrine? I almost cussed. I had to remind myself, it's a female. I said, what? What? I'm just asking, do you read the doctrine? I'm like, what the fuck? I was born into this. What are you talking about? I was born into the walk of life. I wasn't born into the book. I wasn't born into the Rahubat. I was born into the walk, the essence that you can't fake. I almost asked, whose woman is this? I almost asked that. Away with you. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? You don't even know who you're talking to. So do you read the doctrine? Oh, what the fuck? Do you know who I am? It's like, if you don't even know who I am, that's weird. Then you just sat through this whole conversation. You don't heard me even name drop or who family, and you still just came out. And then what she said? She said, well, I just got here. That explains it. Well, let me tell you something. I was on Tamaray. I've been here. Who the hell are you? Introduce yourself, first of all, before you just open your mouth, start saying words to me. Introduce yourself. This ain't that type of game. You know what I'm saying? All right, I can look at certain people and see why they there for you. You here for you think this is the club. This ain't the club. This ain't the club. Get who the fuck you done came to click up with and get the fuck ghost. Don't step to me like you know what's going on. So I'm asking them, they talking about all this, everything. Nothing's literal. Y'all still taking the Bible literal. Why are we still talking about the Bible if you said we so beyond religion? Why you still got to break down the Bible? We don't went so far beyond religion. You still breaking down the biblical stuff? No, something's wrong. You remember the Jet Li movie? Something's wrong. I'm the Jet Li nigga in the scene. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I was listening, and then he said something. He said, because you got the hippocampus. The hippocampus is the brain, but that means the white horse in Revelation. I said, huh? Hippocampus. Hippos, horse, campus, seahorse, or water creature. I said, so I'm listening to him break it down. He said, that's the white horse because it was Pegasus, because Pegasus flew. I said, but the word don't mean air horse. It mean water horse. So I asked, I said, so how did you come away with this hippocampus means white horse in Revelation thing? Where you get the white horse? I said, it was 4 horses. He said, because it was Pegasus. I said, but it means water horse. I said, so, okay, what about the other 3 horses? What do we call them? If the white horse is the hippocampus of the brain, what about the other 3 horses? Did you know that there were other horses? This nigga went all around the world to answer that question. Didn't have an answer for it. Why? Because he didn't prepare for it. He didn't write it down. What? So he went from that. The reason why I stepped forward, because I'm listening. I'm like, okay, he talking. But then he said some shit, and I'm like, yo, because he said it's not literal. None of this is literal. All of this is talking about the body. I said, so then who are the Najaru? He said, that's Munu, huh? He said, I said, who are the Najaru? Who are you talking about? Who are you praying to when you say you're praying to the Nateru? Who are they? He said, those, some people got stuck in the Anunnaki, but we on the Neteru. You still haven't answered my question. Who are they? Meaning, either you know who they are, or you're praying to somebody and you don't know who they are, which means what? You're believing in them. So, is that literal or allegorical? When you say that we're going to get picked up, is that literal or allegorical? So I brought it around. I said, let me ask you, so everybody talking about this 2023 year is the pickup year. Okay, where are we going to get picked up? When? What time? When is this going to happen? Nigga said, August. So I said, where? He said, don't know. Basically, he said he don't know. After a while, he said he don't know. So what's my point? Y'all, they don't know what the hell they talking about, y'all. They lost. They don't know what the hell they talking about. And when I step forward, it's like, everybody else in there, people be like, yes, men. They listen to everything they say. They don't care. They just want a piece of love and light. Nah, nigga, hold on. Something ain't right. What are we doing? You just told me next month we leaving Earth. We leaving the planet Earth next month, and we sitting here in this bookstore listening to you talk about how Jesus is shit. Something wrong. I said, bro, that ain't new. How is that an update? That's old. Pop must think everybody that's Sabian is brand new then. He must be, that's what he must think that. You not fooling somebody who was there. Something is wrong. He must think everybody knew, like they just got here. Everybody, because ain't no way in the hell he only put, unless y'all are on recess and y'all are resting and stuck and waiting. You can't move, which means you've been waiting for 21 years. You can't move. I was even saying, I said, nigga, it's a whole world outside. We got to bring right knowledge to people. We gathering meeting here. Y'all gathering doing this. We got to bring right knowledge to people. The world, nigga, not just Sabians. What are you doing? Nigga said, well, you know, Baba, he did this. Baba, he did that. He'll put it in the book. And then we wait. And if he put it in the book, then I said, nigga, it's a book. It can't do shit. It is a book. It ain't going to ever get up and go nowhere. I said, so damn what? I said, well, let's change the world then. Let's get out here and do this. Let's be the soldiers that you was meant to be. He said, but you can't make nobody do this. You can't make people. I said, I ain't say make people do nothing. I said, how did Baba change everybody? How Baba flip everybody and roll everybody over to right knowledge? He said, he changed the environment. I said, okay, cool, bet. Let's change the environment. He said, but that's what Baba does. I said, damn, is there not another able-bodied motherfucker here? He was the only person that was an able-bodied person that can get up and move and go do stuff. What the hell do y'all got going on, bro? So you don't move unless you don't say nothing unless he put it in the book. That's like a violation. Because he didn't want you to just read his books. He wanted you to read it, then apply it. Go out, teach it, push it forth, research it, make sure you know it, do the action. Do the action that come with the lesson. Bro, I don't know what these folks doing. That shit getting on my nerve, really. So they talking about we August 12th, we leaving. I'm like, bro, and going where, bro? What the fuck? Y'all going? Y'all can't even get along on Earth. You can't even get along on Earth. You can't decide which chant you using. And I see all y'all side. Let me tell y'all something. Look. I don't got no sense. I'm going to say this before I get out of here. I don't have sense. If I'm saying some shit need to be fixed, don't try to do your little side posts and talk about some we the real, we really with pop, we the real side. Don't do that, because then I start, you know what I'm saying? Then I start getting a little loony. If I say some shit need to be clean, I mean that. I need it to be cleaned up. We got to clean this up, because it don't make sense. Something wrong. Don't start feeling like I'm coming for you just because I'm saying we need to get it clean. Because then you start making a mistake everybody that I made. But you start thinking you can bark in my direction when I say that. That ain't what this is. Nah. Sabians, you got answers that you got to answer to, too. You got questions you got to answer to, too. Where the fuck is the pickup point? Cut out all these games, all these arguments over where you going to celebrate his birthday, all this other bullshit y'all got going on. Where's the pickup point? When do we go? If you don't know that, ain't nobody out here that can help us. Ain't nobody out here. So stop acting like it. So if ain't nobody out here who can help us, then I'm trying to figure out why the fuck your whole intention in life since May 8, 2002 was not to make sure he was out. 21 years done passed and you want to tell me that we gotta stay together. We got to stay where? I said I would love to bring people through here. I can't bring people through here until we get that shit cleaned up. I'm a send them to Malachi because they're going to be exposed to the emerald light. But other than that, bro, these folk don't know what they talking about. It's still religion. So I said it in the meeting. I said, you know what? What I don't want to happen is 2024 to pop up and everybody be talking about some, we didn't do what we were supposed to do. We missed the pickup. How you gonna miss shit you don't know what the fuck is that? That'll do it every time. That'll do it every time. That'll do it. You don't even know where it's at. But now he wouldn't tell people where it's at. You're lying. Because he literally told people where the fuck it was at. You're lying. You just don't know. Because you didn't study his books. He been said where the fuck the pickup points is at. I can name 3 of them right now. He didn't keep that shit a secret. One of them is a tourist site, Rock Eagle Mound. But he also said, fuck they gonna pick you up for? He said, why would they pick you up? He said, you ain't seen the movie Independence Day when all the people ran up to that ship, talking about some Welcome to Earth, and they got zapped? Bro, they think this shit is a game. It's not a game. It's not a game. If you are a Sabian, you have a question on the table. Where is the pickup point for August 12th? Where will you be on August 12th? If you don't know that, then you ain't one of them. Because he said, when it came time, the knowing would know. You would hit a call. So don't step out. Why would I be on the Sabians? Why would I be on anybody? Why was I ever on anybody? When you step out like you got it figured out and everybody else is to be stepped on and stepped over, when you do that, that make me intervene. Because then I'm going to check you and see, okay, where you at with it? Where you at with it? When I ask you about the Neteru or the Elohim, you need to have a conversation like we talking about my cousin them. You don't need to be mystifying that shit. That means you don't know what's going on. So stand down. Stop adding to the confusion. Simple. And you won't be called out. I don't care what it is. When, why, and where. Sometimes how. It's on that truth shit, standing on it, and we don't care how you feel. That's how they try to ostracize you and put you off to the side. It don't matter. They did it to Pops. But we're going to get this together. We're going to get it figured out. But you ain't finna keep pushing all this mysticism. We're going to get this together for real. And you got to do real work or you have to stand down. Simple. Real work or stand down. And that real work means you got to go out into the real world. Okay? And if there's some ascension that needs to take place within the next 7 years, you're going to have to explain that actually, what it is for real. Not no mystical pray shit, chant. Y'all been praying and chanting and still arguing. Still fighting. And he's still in there. Still being tested. All right, I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace and love. We'll come back later and we'll get some more bill. I know this was a good bill. It was, really. We'll get into it. So next time, bring your questions and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Love y'all. Peace.